Guys, the first big piece of new content has been announced and has been confirmed for the anniversary. It is dropping on July 2nd, just 8 days from now in Watcher of Realms. In this video, I'll break down absolutely everything you need to know about Malriks Halls of Illusion, what artifact augmentation is, what gear enhancement is, what gems are to begin with, what keystones are. There's a lot to unpack. I'm going to break it down in this video in 10 minutes or less. You have my word.
Fastidious.
Fastidious.
So we're getting this brand new feature. It's actually been live on the test server and the Forerunner for a minute now, and it will allow people to enhance and level up and improve their gear and artifacts in new, powerful ways that will really allow a lot of people to succeed in hard new content that you had hit a wall on. This is a whole new way to bring your gear, bring your builds to a brand new, stronger level. So they kind of present this as a bunch of different things, but all in all, it is essentially just one thing with many different facets and features within it. So in the game, you'll be able to get something called keystones in two different ways. You can farm them up in the gear raids, gear raid 1, 2, and 3, stage 19 through 22. The quality of those keystones and the chance to get them will increase as you get to and farm out higher stages. Obviously, that's the case, but according to this update, you will also be able to acquire keystones sometimes through celebration events. So I'm assuming those are big events like the Frostfall Jamboree, Till Kingdom Come, the anniversary, maybe Halloween, I don't know, maybe Valentine's Day. We'll have to wait and see, but you're going to get those keystones, and they allow you to enter different specific instances or stages within Malriks Halls of Illusion. Then, when you're in Malriks Halls of Illusion, whatever stage that is, will drop some form of high-quality reward. These rewards can be any of these kind of gear gems or artifact gems, or general enhancement materials like hammers, refining crystals, advanced refining crystals, even legendary skill crystals, or even nice hero summons. So from your rares to your divines to your ancients, how does the whole thing work? What do we need to know about each gems? Let's officially get into it. So with the gem enhancement, it's weird that they're calling it gem enhancement and then they're separately calling this artifact augmentation, because to enhance your gear and to augment your artifacts, it is all gems. They referred to all these materials as gems. You just need to know what each gem does and what it corresponds to gear or to artifacts. So let's start here with the Darkfall gem. This is a cool gem. It will enhance the primary attribute of mythic and higher rarity gear. So if you have a mythic piece of gear with flat attack or attack bonus or HP bonus, it will add a certain amount more to that main stat. Pretty cool. Then we have something called an evolution gem. All four of these, by the way, are your gear gems. The evolution gem might be the biggest game changer for newer accounts and people still progressing into the game. It will take your tier 1 mythic gear and transform it into a higher rarity gear. And you can do this with ancient and variant pieces. So let's say you had a variant piece of fracture gear that you never use, because who needs fracture? It will transform it, it will evolve it into a corresponding set from tier 2 or tier 3 rarity. So what do I mean by corresponding set? Well, it's going to be a set that's the same kind of set as what you are evolving. So if you're using a DPS set like Fracture or Curse or something, it will turn it into Infernal Roar, Ageless Wrath, Soulbound Arcana, Hell's Lament, or Cataclysm. Likewise, if you take Asclepius or you take Guardian, it will give you some kind of support set or tank set. This is a very, very powerful one, again, especially for people still progressing through the game. But even still, let's say you had a variant piece that had 4 perfect substats in some aspect, but it's Fracture or something you don't want to use, you can now evolve it. Now we get something called a variant gem. This will allow you to turn your ancient piece of gear into a variant piece of gear. Nothing will change with the stats. You'll just get the bonus variant effect on the bottom. It will be a strictly additional thing. And this is really nice because you can take your absolute best ancient pieces of gear and make them variants. So your best Soulbound Arcana or your best Infernal Roar or your best Warlord, that can become some special improved variant thing. This only applies to weapons and bangles because that's how variants currently work in the game. You can only get a variant on a weapon or a bangle, but that's pretty dang cool. And then finally, maybe the most powerful, certainly in the end of the game when you're really tinkering and min-maxing, we have something called the Transmutation Gem. this will re-roll a specific secondary stat. It will re-roll a substat. Not the amount, it will change what that is. So let's say you have a DPS piece with healing effect as a substat. Now you can re-roll it and try to get flat attack or attack speed or rage regen, whatever you were missing compared to the other perfect stats. Something you need to know though, when you do a transmutation of a secondary stat, you are locking in that is the only secondary stat you can mess with, that you can improve upon. So if you take one of your refining crystals to then re-roll the value of one of the secondary stats, you can only do it to that same substat. They lock you into that. I hope that changes in the future, but it very well may not happen. You can see here, other secondary attributes can no longer be selected for modification once you've done that once. Now we've got our artifact gems. This is for artifact augmentation, and it can happen in 3 ways. The first 2 are the same thing. One is just better. So you have your augmentation gem. If you don't know, every artifact in this game, yes, has the artifact effect, like the description, the thing you level up as you go. But depending on the rarity, you get some amount of flat attack and flat HP as a stat contribution. The augmentation gem will randomly improve either the HP or the attack. So it'll make it a little better. The advanced augmentation gem will improve either the HP or the attack, but in a much more significant way. So it's going to boost that stat contribution by a lot more. The biggest one, though, is the runic augmentation gem. This adds a whole extra static attribute to your artifact. So you're not just getting a flat HP and a flat attack contribution. You can get a lot of things. You can get crit rate. You can get crit damage. You can get attack speed. You can get heal effect. It depends on the artifact. It depends what you roll on it. But this can be really, really powerful, and you can re-roll it, though it can be very hard to come by these resources. Finally, what actually is the Malrik Hall of Illusion? Malriks Halls of Illusion. This is a mouthful to say. Essentially, it's a new game mode. So you're going to get those keystones, which you can farm up. I believe you can have up to 50 at a time. After that, you can't get any more, so make sure you farm them all out. And you can enter these instances within Malriks Halls, and each one has an opportunity to drop special kind of stuff. The lower rarity keystone you get, the worse quality rewards, or at least the lesser quantity. It all depends on the kind of keystone. As you get deeper into the game and you farm higher levels and you get higher keystones, you get better and better stuff. The recommended BPs very much correspond to like kind of where you got the keystone for how difficult it is. So the lowest instances of it, you can see here, this is a Mossy Crystal 5. A Mossy Crystal 1 might only have a recommended BP of 400,000 or 600,000, but as you get up to 4 and then 5, basically legendary and then mythic quality, it gets really difficult, but the drops get really good. So what does the stage look like? At the time of the new update launching and of this feature dropping, we're only going to get one instance, and it's going to be this sewer that you get through these mossy keystones, the mossy crystals. And you can see they're calling it the Black Sewer. For this content, you are going to want to have a lot of melee AoE units or summoner platform AoE units. That's what they're leaning into. They're also giving a big shout out to my big girl, Large Marge, Malvira over here. All in all, bring the AoE, bring the hurt, you'll do pretty well. It might be difficult depending on the keystone you have and how difficult the instance you're entering is, so make sure you gear properly. But once you defeat it, you're going to have a chance to get any of these valuable rewards. And the quality and the quantity will depend on the difficulty of the instance. But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in here as we broke down at the beginning. How hard will it be to get the most special things like the runic augmentation gem or the transmutation gem? We are going to have to wait and see. From what I've seen so far on the test server and what I've heard from 400 people, it's pretty freaking hard. I hope they make the keystones pretty accessible and they improve the drop rate on global launch, because as it is now, getting to that limit of 50 and being able to farm as much as you want is incredibly difficult. 400 people are saying you get about 1 drop every 100 runs at the highest stages of the gear raids, like 22, 23, 24. So I hope they do better than that. We'll have to see upon launch. So there you have it, in 10 minutes or less, everything coming to Watch of Realms with regard to gems, to augmentation, to enhancement, to Malriks Halls of Illusion, and all this new content and all this new access to crazy resources. So what I finally suggest to you guys, if you need to be farming out, if you're not that deep into the game, you don't have to do this. But with the update in only 8 days, it's going to be so much more valuable to farm your gear raids after the update. So if you're like me and you have, some time to spare where you don't have to be heavily invested in the game, it's a good moment to stockpile your stamina. I'm not saying ignore your brave conquests and all stuff like that, but maybe ignore it a little, right? I would say do the minimum farming and try to stockpile as much as you can for the next 8 days, because a lot is going to change after the launch of this new feature and all the crazy enhancement and augmentation and Malrik pizzazz. There you have it. I've been Fastidious. If you like my stuff, please make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Thank you to R-Type for editing this video. Share it with your mother, guys, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.